how's it going? Right now, I am going to review Wonder Woman, the spoiler version. It is a fantastic movie. Go see it. Give it money. It's a great movie. Best DC Entertainment Universe movie that you'll get. My friend Vince, he actually asked me what is better. Is it better than the original Batman movies or like the movies of the past? That's kind of a tough question. I love Tim Burton Batman movies, even though I affectionately call it the murder spree Batman movies, but I think this is a movie that actually gets the character, gets the source material. Got my Justice League hat, and I got my fraternity bats signal, but I don't have anything Wonder Woman related, so that's why, I have this. And look, it doesn't even have Wonder Woman on it. It's just the male characters. Chauvinism. This is the spoiler version of Wonder Woman. If you have not seen the movie, I recommend you turn off this computer and go to the theater and check it out. Or watch the non-spoiler version. That works too. But seriously, do go see this movie. Gal Gadot is a fantastic actress as Wonder Woman. I had so many doubts about her when I first heard of her because I saw her in a Fast and the Furious movie and I really did not like her. But that's because she was playing a typical Fast and the Furious woman. But then I saw her train and then I learned that she was a soldier in the Israeli army. So like the fact she already knows how to kick ass is awesome. Not only that, but when she was filming Wonder Woman, she was actually 5 months pregnant. She was fighting with a baby on board. And then I saw her in Batman vs. Superman and that changed my mind of her altogether. She captured Wonder Woman exuberantly. So the movie starts off with a brand new DC logo featuring different DC characters, and then it just cuts into present day where Diana, Wonder Woman, is in France and she receives a gift via delivery service, and it's a photo of her with her team from way back when. That's the same photo she was looking for in Batman vs. Superman that she was trying to get from Lex Luthor, but Bruce Wayne got a hold of it. So he actually had that delivered to her. And then it cuts back to her when she was a little girl, adorable kid who played young Diana. And the little girl, little Diana, she wants to be an Amazon warrior on the Paradise Island, the Mascara, an island full of women. And she wants to be a warrior, but her mother, Hippolyta, disapproves of that because that's her daughter, that's her little girl. She's the only one naturally made. There's a scene where Hippolyta tells young Diana how it starts off with Zeus and the gods, and then there was men. And thanks to Ares, there was always war. So Zeus brought in women to kind of throw a balance into it to settle men down. But of course, women were not being treated well thanks to Ares trying to influence war. So Hippolyta takes all the women and moved to the Mascara, and they are blocked from the rest of the world. And that's how it came to be. She also explained that young Diana was created out of clay. Doesn't show that, but the way they told the story of the gods fighting, I don't know how to describe it. It's like looking at a picture, but it's moving, and the artwork is drawn kind of like Renaissance style mixed with Alex Ross drawing. If you're familiar with Alex Ross, kudos, he's a great artist. Check out Kingdom Come, and you'll see why. And it shows the Amazons practicing, and the way they fight is very unique. A lot of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon-esque fighting, jumping in the air to avoid arrows. And Diana wants to be part of that. And Hippolyta's not having it, but Diana's aunt actually secretly trains her. And Hippolyta relents and allows it just for self-protection. Cut 2 years later, Diana's at the current age, and she looks over the water and sees a plane crashing in, and that plane is actually being flown by Steve Trevor, a spy. He's flying a German plane. Diana jumps into the water and saves him, and not too far after him are German soldiers. They follow him to the island and they actually start attacking. Amazon women are being killed by bullets. This is all new to the women, but they still persevere with their weapons and their know-how to defend themselves. Even arrows defeated all of them, but the aunt who trained Diana was killed in the battle. So they interrogate Steve, find out that he is a German spy. He's actually an American. They interrogate Steve Trevor, finds out he's a spy who's been on a mission to spy on the Germans. He had stolen some plans for a poison, stole from the evil General Ludendorff and Dr. Poison. And it shows a little flashback of him escaping and stealing a German plane and going back, shooting everyone down, and he drops a bomb on everyone. Very epic, and then while they're interrogating him, they're using the lasso of truth, which, fun fact, by the way, the guy who created Wonder Woman in the comics, keep in mind Wonder Woman with her lasso of truth, he's the same guy that actually brought us the lie detector, the polygraph. So let that sink in. In this film, the lasso makes people tell the truth, but it's also hot. It burns. You'll like Chris Pine as Steve Trevor. He has chemistry like he did as Captain Kirk, and you can feel the love between him and Diana in this film. And ladies and gentlemen that are into that, you get to see him somewhat naked. Naked in the sense of he's naked except for his hand is covering the parts that need to be covered. But Diana decides to sneak him out and go back to London with him because Diana actually believes that Ares is the cause for the World War. And she feels if she can defeat Ares with the God Killer, which is believed to be a sword, then the war will end. And she believes Ludendorff is Ares. So she tries to sneak Steve Trevor out, but is quickly stopped by Hippolyta, and has this moment of Hippolyta realizing she can't stop her daughter from going out and protecting the world, so she gives her the tiara and her final goodbye, telling her that once she leaves the island, if she leaves the island, she can never return. So that's the last time we see the Themyscirans in this film. And there's a cute moment, of course, afterwards, where Diana is in a boat with Steve Trevor, and they're sailing, trying to get back to London to warn everyone of the evil poison that the Germans are developing. But while they're in a boat, Steve sets up this bedding for Diana, and it's a cute little exchange of Diana not understanding why he's not going to go to sleep right next to her. Even has a joke of oh, you don't sleep with women. And he's like, no, I do. And just kind of an awkward back and forth, men have with women sometimes. They arrive in London, and this is a very interesting moment. She tries ice cream in London, and she enjoys it so much the first time trying it, she tells the ice cream man that he should be very proud. Now, this is an inside thing, but that was actually a reference to the animated Wonder Woman movie where the same thing happened. She got ice cream and she said he should be proud. So I, being a fan of the animated Wonder Woman movie, it was cute that they included that. And then she's introduced to Steve's secretary. She's kind of, in this version, she's kind of a frumpy British woman, and I don't mean that in a mean way, it's just how they made her character. She's kind of like the, oh my, comic relief, and it's a welcome change. In the comics, she's actually a slender, beautiful blonde woman that sometimes tries to hit on Steve Rogers. I say Steve Rogers, Steve Trevor, but here, now she's just a friendly secretary. And the secretary takes Diane to get some clothes so she can blend in with the commoners of London. And it's very uncomfortable for her because women in London, unlike the mascara, they have to dress up very conservatively. And Wonder Woman just doesn't understand how they're able to fight. She cannot separate the civilians from the soldiers. Played for laughs, even shows her trying to kick and she rips a dress from it. And she puts on her glasses that she's given, and they even made a joke of oh yeah, that's gonna be totally different than how she looks now. Kind of maybe a wink to Clark Kent Superman. But the way she looks with her glasses and her outfit, civilian outfit, she actually looks like Diana Prince from the 70s Linda Carter Wonder Woman show. Finally, they bring the plans to the generals, and the generals kind of throw a fit because, a woman is in the war room. And Wonder Woman calls them out and says they're all cowards because they're not making any moves to stop the Germans, questioning why they are generals when all they're doing is sitting behind desks when they should be out on a battlefield. So that was pretty bold. But Steve Trevor secretly takes her to the mission so she can take on Ares and he can save the world from the Germans. They enlist the help from some motley crew of soldiers, one a Scottish drunk that has post-traumatic stress, and then a Native American, well, it's London, so I'm going to have to say Indian chief because native London. Anyways, he's a chief and a French man. And the movie also shows that Wonder Woman can communicate with different languages because her people knows thousands of languages. They build their team kind of like, again, Captain America. It happens there too. And we go have a scene where Steve is bringing the men and Diana through the trenches. He explains that the trenches, they've been shooting at the Germans and the Germans have been shooting at them for years and not making much ground. On the German side, they have women and children captive. Once Diana, Wonder Woman, finds out about this, she wants to stop and help them. Steve doesn't look at it that way. He knows there's a mission for a bigger cause that has to be handled. That sometimes in war you have to let smaller things go because, as Spock says, the need of the many outweigh the need of the few. So Wonder Woman's not listening to that. She gets into her Wonder Woman outfit and she jumps onto the battleground. All the German soldiers are firing their bullets at her. She's reflecting them with her bracelets and her shield, and while the Germans are firing towards her, they're easily distracted for the British soldiers to get shot. Once Wonder Woman arrives into the town, she starts wailing on soldiers left and right and pretty much taking on like a lot of explosions. There's a sniper trying to interfere with the mission and trying to interfere with the rescue. So what Wonder Woman does, she takes her shield and she jumps towards the tower, and the impact of her jumping into the tower knocks everything down, makes the tower crumble down onto the sniper, and she comes out heroic. What then happens next is that they continue the mission and they go to Ludendorff's castle. Unfortunately, though, Ludendorff and his Dr. Poison has created the poisonous gas, and from his castle they launch the poison into the town that Wonder Woman saved, killing everyone. Pisses off Wonder Woman, and she starts going right after him. Ludendorff has a plan to unleash more of the poisonous bombs through a big plane. Again, Captain America territory, giant aircraft with bombs, and a hero has to take over. That hero in this case is Steve Trevor. He gets into the plane. Wonder Woman fights Ludendorff, and it's a very cool battle. She uses the lasso and brings him back down, and she kills him, only to find out nothing's happening. The war still continues, and right then and there, she learns who Ares is. Ares is actually one of the political figures that was talking about holding back on the war, but still supported Steve Trevor and Diana on their mission. He was one of the British allies. But he explained to Diana that he doesn't single-handedly cause war, but instead he only gives people ideas. He only inspires people through a whisper. And that's why war will always keep happening, Ares or not. So Wonder Woman tries to strike him down with her sword, the God Killer, but he breaks it, and he explains to her that she is the God Killer. Her father, who helped create her through the clay with Hippolyta, her father is actually Zeus. That's another DC 52 thing where they made Zeus Wonder Woman's father. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel Zeus has too many kids already. Now, in Justice League, like in Justice League Unlimited, it's alluded that Hades is Wonder Woman's father, and I prefer that. But again, that's rules of DC 52 comics. And there's a whole final battle where it gets into like Man of Steel territory, so much destruction. But this is between Wonder Woman and Ares, and it's just gorgeous how it's planned out. And she is kind of getting knocked around by Hades. Hades even has this cool moment. He takes the burning rubble of the destroyed tanks, brings it to his body, and forms the scrap metal to look like his classic ancient Greek Ares uniform. It's just kind of now like true to comic form. Some people call it a complaint where it's like very comic booky, but it is a comic book movie, so I'm not going to make that same complaint. But as Wonder Woman is being pinned down, she sees the plane that takes off with Steve Trevor, and he can't stop the plane himself, so the only thing he can do is destroy the plane with him in it and cause the explosion in the sky. Steve Trevor dies in this movie. And it's a shame to see him go, but this is World War I. We know he's only a man, so he's not going to age very well like Wonder Woman anyways. He would have died years ago. But that kind of emotion drawn out of Wonder Woman just brings all her energy out, and she really becomes the full potential of Wonder Woman, and she defeats Ares. And it's just a whole impact explosion using her bracelets. There are no mid-credit scene or post-credit scene. Don't have to worry about that. Yes, the movie was fantastic. All the actors did a fantastic job. Even the actor I didn't like in X-Men Origins Wolverine, he deemed himself here. Dr. Poison was great. You actually have sympathy for her, even though she's a sadistic doctor with half her face ripped off, replaced with like plastic. But her life is actually spared by Wonder Woman because you see in her eyes that, she's just broken. And they play this movie very well where they make Wonder Woman not this like, I am mad at men. It's more of, I'm curious about mankind and I want to adapt and I want to help out the world. She, like I said, she doesn't hold anyone to a lower standard than herself. She tries to uplift everyone to her level, make them be the best that they can be. Even has this moment where like the PSCD Scottish soldier that helped them during the whole sniper tower scene, he kind of showed restraint because of his issues that he was having. So the next day when they pack up and go on with their mission, he tries to back out, but Wonder Woman still keeps him in because he has a good singing voice and he needs to stick around for that. So she has sympathy. She's not just this angry warrior. She has a heart, and I look forward to seeing her in future movies, including Justice League. Skeptical about Justice League itself, but I'm excited to see how she plays out in that movie. Everyone had great instant chemistry, and because of these small little nitpicks that I had of the movie, I'm going to say the movie deserves an A-. Rarely will you ever see me give a movie A+. That's gonna be really hard to get from me, but this is the best DC Entertainment Universe movie that you're gonna get. Here's how I'm ranking them so far. Wonder Woman and Man of Steel are kind of real close to each other. Wonder Woman on top, Man on Steel number 2. Suicide Squad is number 3, and sad to say, even though I really liked the movie, Batman vs. Superman is in the last place. And that's only because they dragged that movie out too long and they made some interesting choices I wouldn't have gone with. But I gotta say, this movie is refreshingly uplifting. There are jokes, there are great action scenes, and beautiful lighthearted moments. And we need more of that in these DC movies. My problem with Marvel, even though I like Marvel comics and I watch Marvel movies and I enjoy them, they get too happy, too sappy, if you ask me. And DC, they try to keep it grounded in more sepia tone. But Wonder Woman separates from that. Suicide Squad, I put at number 3 because even though it's goofy, it's still fun. Man of Steel is number 2 because it gave us the Superman we've always wanted. And the heart is beating when I watch that movie every time. Batman vs. Superman, great Batman, great Wonder Woman, but the movie just drags on. Like if I could just gut out the middle of that movie, that would be fantastic. But back to Wonder Woman. It's a A-, and I hope to see more Wonder Woman in the future. Thank you very much, and have a good one.